So let's show some of the tweets that the squad has put out. And it's so funny, Nick, how they have to code it this way. Let's start. Well, Nina Turner's not in office. So we're going to compare in office to not in office. So let's look at Nina Turner's tweet first. So here's hers. It says, congratulations to Lula on your victory. This is such great good news for Brazilians and for global movement for economic and social and racial and environmental justice. Viva
Oh my
Lula.
fucking God. Oh my and guys, there's so many of these too. Do you have AOC's tweet as well? Where
yes. Oh yes, I have that.
I don't mean to pick on her immediately, but you know we all know Nina's full shit. But AOC just tweets out Lula. Because yes. I think AOC, I have no idea who Lula is. I will not AOC, you just
I have it right here.
AOC, you just called people who advocate for peace with Russia Putin puppets. That is Lula positions, man. Do you think Lula a Putin puppet? Do you think Lula is repeating Putin talking points? Lula, unlike you guys, want to form a positive relationship with China. You vote to send weapons to Taiwan. You guys are not the same. Go ahead, CJ.
But why do you think people like her in particular, like elected people, why do you think I think they have to do this because they see all the left people kind of going, or a lot of the left people saying Lula. So in order to keep their veneer, they also have to sort of like project it. But you notice how she has to keep it short. Either that or either what I'm saying or what you're saying, that she has no idea. But let's look at Ilhan Omar's and notice what they both do, Nick. They both just say Lula, and it's either because they don't know who he is, it's either that, or, and I think either one of these is bad. So it's either that they don't know, or it's that she's just telling you what physically happened. Or it's that they can't go into the details of what he believes.
Oh, yep, CJ, that's exactly
it. They can't do it because it conflicts with the Democrats. They can't talk about his stance on Ukraine. They can't. So they can't go, CJ. This is a great victory for socialism because of blah, 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 blah. He's calling, speaking truth to power. But guess who could do that? Somebody like Kashama Sawan. She can say this is a good victory for the geopolitical left because he speaks truth to the imperialist core. He stands up about Iran. You know what I mean? They can't say any of that.
Can you imagine? There's no way Ilhan Omar is going to tweet out, yes, Lula wins. This is great because now we can expand on BRICS and challenge NATO.
Right. They can't
He's not going to say why. I love that point. I didn't even think about that before. That's Lula, hey guys, I'm down, I'm hip, I know what's going on. They have no idea Lula's position.
But I think either way is bad. Like either your way where they don't know who he is, or the way that I'm saying because they know it's gonna it conflicts with their own party, and they can't draw attention to that, especially considering what the fallout because of the whole letter thing. So yeah,
I have one more thing to share on the Lula, and then we can move on to another story.
Go ahead.
This should be quick. We had Glenn on, and I asked him about his position on the Brazilian election. He kind of agreed with me, right? And there's this narrative that Glenn is like this hard right winger, and there's definitely positions that we can disagree on like on social issues and stuff like that. But Glenn has always been a champion of the left in Brazil. Literally, his reporting helped get Lula out of jail. But liberals hate Glenn Greenwald. I even saw a bunch of shitlers that saw Glenn was on RBN. They was like, oh my God, RBN sells out. Like, that what did it for him. Like, they saw Glenn Greenwald on RBN. Like, that's it. You guys went too far. So, Glenn understands the material reality of Brazil. That's why he supports Lula and always have. Just let you guys know. For the U.S. leftists that sitting here in the armchair, not really understanding the reality of Brazil, Glenn understands. That's why Glenn did what he did to get Lula out. But there are and it's like it's a complete circle. Like the same people who have Trump derangement syndrome, the same people who had Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome, are the people who had Glenn Greenwald derangement syndrome.
They do have
It's
a lot
really
of
the same
overlap.
people. Like Jordan, he hates Jimmy and he hates Glenn. Jank hates Jimmy, he hates Glenn. They all have Trump derangement syndrome. You gotta see how that circle is always complete. And the reason why they hate Glenn is because the real reason, at least, is because he debunked Russiagate, which they were super invested in. That's the real reason. They make a lot of bullshit to cover that. I just want you guys to understand. That's why we didn't fall for that. We didn't fall for it here. So it's to the point where there are people that were saying stuff like, and this is just one of many tweets on Twitter I saw, showing how unserious. I saw social democrats that hate Glenn because he criticized LC retweet the same thing. I saw a big tweet from a big LC bootlicker that will keep unnamed that had like 2,000 likes. I wish I would dug it up. Actually, I can't because she blocked me. That's why I can't find it. I just saw the screenshot where she was like, haha, I know Glenn Greenwald is sad that Bolsonaro won. That Bolsonaro lost, I mean. And this is another one. Look, 5,000 likes from Shit Live Twitter. This evening, spare a thought for Glenn Greenwald and how bad he must feel at Bolsonaro loss. I'm just feeling luxurious in the thought of Greenwald being generally miserable. Being miserable. It's a fun... Guys, they hate Glenn so much because of Russiagate. And because he called the Democratic Party. The same way you see the unhinged hate for... These same people hate us. These same people hate Breonna Joy Gray. They hate Jimmy Dore. Anyone who speaks out against the war machine and against the Democratic Party in particular, they hate. So I give these people benefit of the doubt because we got the same enemies. Right? So... You guys, most of you guys know why this is ridiculous at face value, right? You know, Glenn Greenwald had to have a security detail when he worked at Intercept. I don't know what the situation is now, but this is well known. When he worked at an Intercept, they literally provided a security detail because there was literally real threats that Bolsonaro might send a fucking hit squad and kill Glenn Greenwald. That was real. Like threats on his life. The Bolsonaro government and the right wanted him dead. Meanwhile, the deeply unserious social democrats and liberals in the United States pretend that Glenn Greenwald was sad. I'm showing you guys this just to let you guys know how bad the knowledge of Brazil is in this country. And this is Edward Snowden. And among many people who had to correct the record because so many people were saying this, guys. Like, so many people were saying this. Glenn was literally trending on Twitter. And Edward said, Glenn Greenwald broke the story that freed Lula from prison. For that same reporting, Bolsonaro sought to put Greenwald in prison. You guys see what I'm talking about when I say that Bolsonaro is literally everything that they say Trump is, plus more?
Yep.
I mean, Trump did the same thing with, he tried to do the same thing with Julian Assange, but once again, the point being, everything that Trump is, that you guys say Trump is, Bolsonaro is literally that. Old school, early style 1900s fascist. And he couldn't get everything he wanted done because of the limits of power he had in Brazil. If he really had full control of government and without restraints, bro, the amount of damage that man would cause. But anyway, this is Edward Snowden correcting the record. And Glenn was like defending himself all day because people were going after him. This is Lula literally tweeting out, I just had to thank the journalist Greenwald who managed to prove journalistically what my defense has always denounced about Lada Jadao, and Global decided to ignore what the Intercept revealed in order to preserve the clay saint that created this. So this is Lula literally thanking Greenwald. So I'm showing you guys this once again. There's a reason why, despite Lula being significantly to my right, I think this is a good victory.